Hi there. I want to preface this before the video starts. This video is purely a documentation, speculation, and discussion video, showing that this asset was in the game at some point, and discussing further on his removal from the game and his connection to Forsaken. A little bit of background on this unused asset. It was called Deadshot, and he was found in the background of the game when you were rolled an inn. Specifically, using Steam VR, you were able to hide the HUD when you were rolled an inn, and that showed where you were spawning in, and showed specifically two assets. The first one being an R6 model, which is used for Blender animations and a bunch of teasers that they've shown over kill animations and killer intros and outros. And the second asset was Deadshot himself. His appearance is quite simple. That was a part of a team system in those old war games, very similar to the player in the game, the Undead Coming. What made this character stand out at the time was that he had a sniper rifle and he had a name over his head. It is unknown when he got added to the game, but it was first documented and seen during the Milestone 4 Cool Kid update, all the way back in May. The person who documented Deadshot was actually me, so if you want to see a video of me documenting my process of actually finding this character as well as just theorizing over what he could potentially be, you can click on this video on the screen right now. There's also a page of Deadshot on the Forsaken Fandom Wiki, so if you want to find more information on him as well as the main theories and speculations of this asset previous to this video, then check it out. At the time, I thought that he was an NPC. This is simply due to the fact that he had a name over the top of his head, and at the time, there was no skin in the game that had that specific attribute to him. I suspected that the sniper that he was holding was the same sniper found in the Underground's War map, and I still believe this to this day. Obviously now we have Killer Kyle, but Killer Kyle was added in the NOLI update, which was when Deadshot got removed. So we know for a simple fact that he was in the game during Milestone 4 Cool Kid update, and then he got removed when the NOLI update came out, specifically when they introduced the optimization patch, which added the loading screens into the game. Pairing two footages of me loading in, one being before the NOLI update, one being after, you can see the recording post NOLI update is significantly faster when you're loading into a game in comparison to the Milestone 4 Cool Kid update. But what you'll notice is my spawn point is completely different when you compare the two side by side, with the footage being closer to the NOLI update, not including the R6 model rig as well as Deadshot himself. And I suspected he was an NPC as to why he was left in the background of the game. He just wasn't being used as of now. Maybe he was going to get introduced into another update, or potentially he was going to be canonized into Forsaken lore. However, about a week ago, it came to my attention that this was not the case and that he was actually a unused dev killer. Courtesy of Surfco on Twitter, he went into the killer config file of Deadshot himself back when he was still part of the game. Now, fair disclaimer, Surfco could be lying about this, but I don't really know what he would gain from lying about this. And I am inclined to believe that this is the case, simply due to what people have posted in the comments of the Fandom Wiki's Deadshot page. Luckily, I made a post about it, and you'll understand why in a quick second. As you can see, I posted about a month ago. I think it was about 2 weeks after I made my video. I made a post stating that I'll believe it when I personally see it. With this one comment, okay, I don't know why it's so blurry, but yeah, I think you can see Deadshot's there. This comment was pointing out that on this version of Forsaken, maybe it's a file dump, it's a recompiled version of the game, who knows. You can see here that Deadshot has his own folder, which has behavior, configs, and a rig, with him commenting, "One of my friends sent me this. Deadshot is a dev killer, not an NPC." Now, the interesting thing about this comment is if you go back onto the Forsaken Fandom Wiki Deadshot page, and you scroll down in the comments, you're not going to be able to find that comment anywhere because it actually got deleted by the admins. Now, the Forsaken devs are quite strict with what can be said and also posted on the Fandom Wiki, and this aligns a lot with what happened with him and his removal from the game. The shot got removed when the NOLI update came out. This was the main update after Soul transferred ownership to Haitoko and Basil. Now, at the time, of course, they didn't really want anything to do with Soul. They removed nearly all connections of Soul's ARG to Forsaken and removed pretty much all assets from him that were left in the game. As at the time of recording this video, and probably when it's posted as well, you can still find this comment on this page here. Now, with that being said, it's very obvious that this dev killer is a complete mess. He's very incomplete. I think the biggest example of this is the fact that he has no animations, and his footsteps, I believe, are just the normal Roblox footsteps that you have when you're playing any game on Roblox. But he did have some attributes for stuff in the shop and basic stuff that I thought we might as well go over. So his display name would be Deadshot, which makes sense. That's what the asset's called. The quote would have been Block Stew, and unfortunately it's made by Soul Driven Love. Render image would have been this render image right here, which is just a paintball dude with his paintball gun and his paintball mask. I don't think this has any connections to Soul Driven Love. I think it's just a random image that he found and they thought it was applicable. But Deadshot's price health, and speed, sprint, loss, gain, and max stamina are all exactly the same as 1x, pointing more towards this being a dev killer, just simply due to the nature of dev killers just building off of the already existing killers in the game and using that as a base. And once again, he seems to be in a very incomplete state, which could explain why the devs just haven't really done anything with him. Obviously, the main factor as to why this is the case is because it's Soul Driven Love's dev killer. I don't think they want to work on Soul Driven Love's dev killer. Even if this was added into private servers, I don't think people would be that happy, and they're not going to waste resources on this when there's more important stuff to work at building up to Guest 666 launch with Veronica. And this would ultimately explain why Deadshot has had pretty much no coverage or anything from the devs' word of mouth. They know about Deadshot, they know his existence in the game because they removed him when the NOLI update came out. And obviously with them bringing out dev killers into VIP private servers, I don't think we're ever going to see this killer ever, especially now with them constantly supporting and updating these dev killers. Like for example, I'm pretty sure in the most recent update, or maybe an update before that, they updated the Guppy's render image as well as the martial artist. It's very clear that they want to continue to make these dev killers and these dev survivors as high quality as they possibly can be now that they're being released to the public, which basically solidifies that this dev killer here is never going to be in the game again. Now, there is a comment on the Forsaken Fandom Wiki page saying the only ability for the behavior was just charge, which I don't think this is actually referring to anything, but seeing that he has a sniper rifle, potentially when he was using it, he was stationary, and he would have a charge ability which would bridge the gap and close the distance between him and the survivor from them being shot. Essentially with the sniper rifle, they could have been stunned, maybe applied like a debuff to them, who really knows. And it just sucks, man. Like when I first made that video, it was like a breath of fresh air finding like a secret asset in the game, and how the people who watched the video and the people who made this wiki brought forth ideas. Like people thought it could be like an upcoming collab with the Undead Coming. People thought it could be an upcoming Chance skin just simply due to the fact that he had a sniper. People thought it was the first ever iteration of MLG Chance, but no, it's just Soul Driven Love's dev killer that he never worked on, he never did any development for, and he pretty much never cared about, which can basically solidify his entire work on Forsaken when he was owner. I think this will be my last video on Deadshot. I'd only speak on Deadshot more if they bring him out or speak about him publicly, but I don't see that like at all. And then if anybody on the Fandom Wiki is watching this video, I think you guys should still have like this trivia section here. Obviously nothing has been confirmed because this is just a Twitter post claiming that this is Soul Driven Love's dev killer. Also, I'd like to apologize for the lack of videos on my channel recently. Put it simply, I have just been not putting the correct time and energy into making content. And I've just been getting distracted by other games, and with university starting again, I just got very sidetracked with everything. It's entirely my fault. I do want to say thank you for watching, thank you for sticking with me. I'll try and get a video out on Friday, but if I don't, it will most likely be out on Monday. I'm just easing back into content creation with this video as it's a lot more simple to make. But yeah guys, basically all that I can speak about. It's just the unfortunate end of Deadshot.